Hey guys, Constance here from Cosmopolitan Cornbread. So I am busy today doing lots of using the harvest sort of things. I made some daikon radish and carrot pickled concoction earlier, and right now I'm getting ready to use a few of the zucchini and summer squash that I have over here from the garden. Mr. Smith is dying to have some zucchini bread, so I'm going to make my mom's zucchini recipe. Now I have changed it a little bit from the way she made it, but it is an amazing recipe. It is so delicious, and even though it is not a low-carb recipe, I will absolutely be indulging in a slice or two. And it freezes well, so it makes 2 loaves. You can make 1 loaf for now and then enjoy the other loaf a little bit later on. So I am going to get started making this. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out my dry ingredients. So I've got a mixing bowl and some measuring cups here. Now this isn't a really thick, difficult recipe, you know, it's a batter kind of thing. So I'm not going to bother getting out my mixer. I can just whisk these ingredients together just fine. So I've got 3 cups of all-purpose flour that we're going to measure out to get started. Baking powder, baking soda, cinnamon, and salt. Alright, 3 teaspoons of cinnamon, alright, next I need 1½ teaspoons of baking powder. Teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of salt. Now I'm just going to whisk these together. Alright, next I'm going to grab my mixing bowl. And let me see, let's move some of this stuff out of the way. So now I need 3 eggs. I'm going to give those a quick whisking. Now I'm going to add in 1 cup of regular granulated sugar. And I used this measuring cup for my flour, so I don't want to just stick the cup down in there. So I don't want to get any flour in there, so I'm using my scoop. That'll do. Alright, now the recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup of extra virgin olive oil. However, you can cut some of the oil that you use in your recipes by replacing it with an equal amount of plain applesauce. So that is what I'm going to do today. Now I need 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar. And just a quick tip, if you are ever in the middle of a recipe and you realize you are out of brown sugar and you need brown sugar for your recipe, you don't exactly want to stop in the middle of what you're doing and run to the store, you can substitute it with regular white sugar and then add in some molasses. For every 1 cup of sugar, you would add a tablespoon of molasses for light brown sugar and 2 tablespoons of molasses for dark brown sugar. So that is a quick substitution if you are ever out of brown sugar, right smack in the middle of a recipe. Alright, next I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And now I'm just going to whisk all of this together until it is nice and smooth. Now I'm going to add in my dry ingredients. And again, I'm going to whisk this until it is all combined and I don't have a whole bunch of great big lumps in there. Now right now it will be a little bit thick, but not too awful thick, not too thick that you can't do this by hand. But of course you can always do this with your mixer, your hand mixer, stand mixer, whatever you like to do. Alright, now I'm going to set this aside for just a minute. And I'm going to pull out my food processor because I need shredded zucchini and I don't really want to shred it by hand. Alright, so I just washed my zucchini and this recipe calls for 2 medium-sized zucchini. So I'm just trimming off the ends and I'm just going to cut my zucchini into some chunks to make it easier to go into the food processor. Then I'm going to shred the zucchini. And you don't have to peel your zucchini. You can if you want to, like if you really, really want to. I generally don't. Some people will do that if they're trying to hide it from their kids that there's a vegetable in there, but it's definitely not going to hurt anything. Now we're going to take the mixing bowl. I'm going to get all of that batter out of my whisk because I am done with my whisk. We'll be using a spatula now. Rubber scraper. And I'm going to take all of that zucchini and I'm just going to fold it in until it is all combined. Alright, so now I have one last ingredient to put in here, but this is completely optional. You don't have to do it, but that's how my mom made it, and so that's what I'm going to do. And that is, I'm going to put in about 1/2 cup of raisins. Okay, so let me get my loaf pans. I'm gonna brush my pans with a baking spray replacement that I have. It's very inexpensive, super easy to make, and I think it works better than any kind of baking spray, non-stick spray that I have ever used. And I have the recipe for how to make this, uses basic ingredients, on my blog, cosmopolitancornbread.com, and I will put a link down below for you. I'm just going to give this a nice coating on the bottom and the sides. Okay. Now I'm going to take the batter and I'm just going to divide it between the two pans as equally as possible. That way they bake evenly. Okie doke. So they are ready to go into the oven. They're going to bake at 325 degrees for about 45 to 55 minutes, or until they test done with a toothpick inserted into the center. Alright, so there you go. Fresh zucchini bread straight out of the oven, still piping hot. This is a recipe I grew up eating. Anytime I wanted my mom to make me something special, I would ask her to make zucchini bread. So I'm sure you will love this recipe. I, of course, have this on my blog, cosmopolitancornbread.com, and there is a free printable version that you can print out, stick it in your folder, stick it in your recipe files, or you can save it on Pinterest if you like. I will put a link to that recipe down below. So if you are new here to my channel, I do at least 3 videos a week on homesteading, home cooking, and back to basics. And over on my website, I have well over 600 recipes, plus homesteading and homemaking articles, all sorts of things for you to browse through. So head on over and check that out. Thanks for coming into the kitchen today with me and making some zucchini bread. My name is Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I'll talk to y'all next time.